officer. Welcome to today's ceremony and thank you for attending. I am honored to be speaking with you today on such a great occasion. We are here today to pay tribute to our community's military service members, past and present, and to recognize the sacrifices they have made to fulfill their obligation to duty and honor to their country. Today, we remember the courageous men and women that took a sacred oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We recognize those who chose to serve our country. We remember the ones who have served, and we pay tribute to those who laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove all head covers for the posting of the national colors and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by the Page High School Choir under the direction of Mr. JROTC.
Company!
Attention!
Lights, cuts! Forward, walk. Great, then. Color! Captain Color.
Post the colors.
Order, go! Right, face! Forward, walk! Left, walk.
hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, an armistice was declared between the Allied nations and Germany, bringing an end to the Great War, more commonly known as World War I. November 11th of the following year became known as Armistice Day. However, in the year 1954, a congressional decision ruled that November 11th should instead be celebrated as Veterans Day, or a day to remember all of those who have served our great country. We continue that tradition here today. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Patriot Battalion Commander, Lily Ann Snow.
Good morning, everyone. I am Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Lily Ann Snow, the Patriot Battalion Commander. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to our Veterans Day program. Page High School has a long tradition of service to our school, our community, and our country. We have years of alumni who have served and continue to serve in our nation's military. It's our honor to recognize the veterans who have joined us today. We have in the audience veterans and guests from American Legion Post 215 and Post 22 in Franklin, from the 50 Forward Community Center in College Grove, and veteran members of the Page High families. Our community veterans span all 5 of our service branches. Finally, let us not forget to honor our veteran family members. Their tireless commitment and support of their loved ones enables our veterans to better serve our nation's defense. I'd also like to welcome the honored guests seated to my left. Williamson County Superintendent, Mr. Jason Golden. Williamson County Board of Education Vice Chairman and 4th District Member, Josh Brown. Our guest speaker, Mr. Colonel Daniel Pugh. Williamson County Mayor, the Honorable Rogers Anderson. Williamson County Sheriff, Sheriff Dusty Rhodes. American Legion Post 22 Commander Tim Tuttle. American Legion Post 215 Commander Kenneth Blakely. And Miss Geraldine Snowden. To open our ceremony today, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mr. Jason Golden, Superintendent of Williamson County.
Thank you, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel. I'll be leaning over the microphone. Cadet Major Jones, thank you for giving us that bit of history of Veterans Day. I'm actually going to lift this and return it as I speak. Thank you for that history of Veterans Day. Students, I can't forget November 11th as Veterans Day, in large part because we know on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, Veterans Day is celebrated based on the ending of World War I. So I do suggest to you that you keep that in your mind and in your heart through your life. Every November 11th, 11/11, you know that is the day that our nation celebrates. For everyone who's here, I want you to know that the first quarter of kindergarten, our social studies standards include the Constitution. I want to read to you a standard that we set first quarter kindergarten for all our students. Students will learn the foundations of good citizenship, including civic responsibilities and patriotism, through the rules by which they live, the authority figures within their community and the United States, and national symbols. Teachers will honor the U.S. Constitution and recognize its significance and importance. First quarter kindergarten. When I see our students here as high school students, when I see this corps of cadets here at Page High School, it does my heart good to see the development over the course of a student's career in a commitment, in the commitment to our nation. So students, those of you who are participating in this, thank you. Students, those of you who support your classmates in their work and are here today, thank you. Parents and grandparents, thank you for allowing us to be stewards of your children during their time, during their career with us. I want you to know it's important to us. Public education is one of the key points that separates the United States from so many other nations in this world. And that commitment to our nation, to preserving that nation, is here with us. But more important, veterans, I want to thank you for taking that commitment so many steps further. We talked about the Constitution first quarter of kindergarten and continue that discussion embedded in our standards throughout our students' careers. But you, veterans, did make that commitment to defend that Constitution. And that oath was already referenced from our students. Thank you for that commitment. Thank you for being here for us to celebrate you, and thank you for what you've done for our nation.
I would like to present you this Army JROTC Leadership Award for your outstanding leadership and unwavering support of the Page High School faculty and student body. To recognize our veterans from each of the services, our band, under the direction of Mr. Taylor Kohlmeyer, has prepared a medley of the service songs. As the band plays the Armed Forces Salute, we would like to ask all our veterans in the audience to be prepared to stand as we call your branch name and as your service song is played. Students, this includes you if you have a family member who is a veteran or is currently serving. Please stand for their branch of the military.
I have a wide shot of the wall in front of me.
The United States Army. The United States Marines. The United States Navy. all of our veterans one more round of applause. I would now like to introduce our guest of honor. A native of Tennessee, Colonel Daniel Pugh was raised on a dairy farm a few miles from here in Bethesda, Tennessee. In 1989, as a senior in high school, he joined the Alabama Army National Guard. He completed his basic and advanced training at the Fort Benning Infantry School, where he learned his military profession of an infantry soldier. A few months later, he pursued a bachelor's in business from Auburn University. While at Auburn, he completed officer candidate school to become an infantry officer. Colonel Pugh moved back to Tennessee upon graduation and began his career as a financial advisor. A true citizen soldier, he transferred into the Tennessee Army National Guard and mobilized for combat while maintaining a civilian career. Colonel Pugh deployed to Operation Noble Eagle in 2001 and again in 2008 as the commander of Forward Support Troop 1st of the 230th Air Cavalry Squadron, Operation Iraqi Freedom. He has spent a lifetime balancing the needs of our military with a family and a career. Recently retired in June of this year, he has 33 years of dedicated military service. Colonel Pugh is married to his wife, Karen, and has 3 sons, Drake, Reed, and Parker, which all attended Page High School. Please help me welcome our guest speaker, Colonel Daniel Pugh.
Man, I got hard shoes to fill there with that Snow and that Jones both did a great job. Great job. Thank you guys very much for the kind introduction and for your warm welcome. Mr. Golden, Dr. Hill, Major Anderson, county board members, faculty, staff, veterans, parents, and students. Thank you all very much for giving me this opportunity to be here to share this wonderful morning with you guys. Before I get started, I want to give a special thanks to Colonel Guzlowski and First Sergeant Bull and Master Sergeant Larson. They're the Page High School Junior ROTC cadre. Guys, this is an exceptional program, and the students at Page, you guys are blessed to have these 3 great Americans and veterans as mentors. And I say that because all 3 of my sons have been part of this particular program, and you 3 men have been a tremendous impact on the boys. Now, Colonel Guzlowski, he told me to stay to the script, so he said I have to get you guys out here about before lunch today, so we'll try to do that. So, I'm proud to be part of this Page family and a citizen of Williamson County, where we've set aside time from our busy schedules to come here and honor these veterans in events like this and in events like the parade that we'll have in downtown Franklin tomorrow. I want to thank everyone, you guys who worked hard to put all this together and make these special events take place. I'm truly humbled just to be here this morning as we set this time aside to honor these vets. They've served a great nation, and we owe them a tremendous debt of gratitude. Thank you guys all for your service and for your sacrifice. We also need to make sure we show our gratitude and our honor to the families. The families are the unspoken heroes. They bear most of the cost, and they don't get the recognition they deserve. The families don't wear the uniform, yet they serve the country. They don't require ribbons showing where they've served. They don't ask for the duty they perform, yet they unwaveringly perform it. Cadet Jones gave an excellent history of the origins of Veterans Day, the conclusion of the war to end all wars. As she mentioned, it was originally declared Armistice Day and honored only the veterans of World War I. And in 1954, after World War II and the Korean War, it was renamed Veterans Day to honor all veterans who served our nation in times of war. So today we honor our veterans who unselfishly placed their lives on the line for freedom. They left their families, their homes, and their lives and answered the call of duty. They fought to protect our country and to maintain our way of life. Ironically now, the war to end all wars, that ended in 1918, didn't end all wars. Over the last 100 years, every generation has come of age with American soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen fighting in armed combat somewhere around the world. During my lifetime, the last surviving members of the Spanish-American War and World War I passed away. There were 16 million Americans who served in World War II. Less than 1% are still living. There were around 7 million Americans who served in the Korean War. Less than 10% of them are still living. There were around 4 million Americans that served in the Republic of Vietnam, and only a quarter of them are still living. These men and women are national treasures, and we owe them all a debt of gratitude. We need to honor them and love them while we still have them. Speaking for myself, I have the utmost respect for the Vietnam veteran, for what they endured as a soldier in combat, and for what they endured here at home when they returned from the war. Our nation sent them off to war to fight against the spread of communism, which was a noble cause. They fought against a well-trained and determined enemy, an enemy whose terms of enlistment were victory or death. Did you hear that? Their terms of enlistment were victory or death. That's who they were fighting against. But back home, the war became unpopular. Because of this, the veterans did not get to come home to a hero's welcome, but instead came home to protest. Our failure to show them that gratitude they deserved led them to believe they were to blame for that unpopular war. Many of the veterans spent the rest of their lives believing that they lost the war, and their sacrifices were for nothing. That's the sunny side of this. However, if you look at the wars in Korea and Vietnam in the context of the Cold War that lasted from 1945 to 1991, you recognize that those two wars were actually major battles of the Cold War. A war that was against an evil form of totalitarianism that we ultimately won. I hope that the veterans of Vietnam and Korea understand this and recognize that their sacrifices were not in vain. We must honor these brave men and women for their tremendous sacrifices. I, for one, am eternally grateful for these generations of veterans for winning the Cold War, so that my generation did not have to endure a direct conflict with the Soviet Union. A conflict that would have been more devastating than all the 20th century wars combined. When I enlisted as an infantry soldier in the Army National Guard in February of 1989, all of my training I received prepared me to fight against the Soviet Union. And thankfully, by the end of that year, the Berlin Wall had come down and the fall of the Soviet Union had begun. Now, the first 20 years of my military career, I was very fortunate to serve with many Vietnam veterans. I served alongside these experienced combat veterans, conducting high-risk training and multiple combat operations. It was their mentorship and their wisdom that led to the greatest accomplishment of my 33 years in the military. I was truly blessed that no soldier serving under my command was killed or severely wounded. I can only attribute that to the grace of God and the professionalism of these veteran non-commissioned officers. I took their words to heart when they told me, "Do not let any man's soul cry out, if only I had the proper training." For any of you veterans who are here today, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're all so fortunate to live in this wonderful nation where you have the freedom to choose to live here in this great state of Tennessee or any other state across this great land. And I like to say that every citizen that lives here was born that won the lottery of life if you were born in this nation. There's no other nation in the world that has the liberty, freedom, and self-determination that we're blessed with in the United States. Regardless of how our political divisions make us feel divided, our diversity and our differences are what enable us to become the great American melting pot. Other than those of us whose ancestors are Native Americans, we are all descendants of somewhere else in the world. Our ancestors either took the risk and moved to this nation or made the choice to stay in this nation. Every year since the end of World War II, the United States has accepted more immigrants than any other nation in the world. When given the choice, people around the world see our nation as the best system in the world to build a life. We all have an opportunity to live the American dream. With that freedom and liberty we enjoy comes with an awesome responsibility of defending our Constitution. We have the duty and responsibility of being stewards of the form of government that we inherited. As I look around this student body today, I see a great generation that will become the future leaders of this nation. Some of you will raise your right hand and swear to defend this country through military service. However, with less than 1% of our population currently serving in the military, most of you will serve this nation in other important ways. Some of you will become community leaders like the folks we have here with us today. Some of you may even serve at the state and national level. Some of you will take on the noble profession of being teachers like we have here, taking care of you and teaching you guys today. Regardless of how you choose to serve, I pray that your generation will live in a world of peace, and that none of you will ever feel this thing about it. War is absolutely the last card that any national leader should ever play, and only when every alternative has been exhausted. If an old soldier, a war veteran, were playing the hand, I can assure you that he would guard that card to the bitter end and play it reluctantly, with fear and trepidation. Each of the veterans sitting here today understands that there are times when all other avenues have failed, that we must pay the butcher's bill and fight, and suffer, and die, to undo the errors of politicians and to fulfill the will of the people. General Douglas MacArthur once said, "The soldier above all other people prays for peace, for they must suffer and bear the deepest scars of war." So now's the time not only to honor those who have fought or are fighting for our freedom, it's time for each of us to take a part in protecting it. The defense of freedom is not just for those in the military. Each of us share that duty and that responsibility. We don't have to join the military to actively defend our way of life. We can protect our freedom simply by maintaining it here in America. If we want to preserve our freedoms, we must put them into action. For example, by going and voting, like we did on Tuesday, or speaking out against injustices. We must ensure that everyone feels the benefits of freedom, and we can do that by volunteering in our communities, or teaching our children exactly what it means to be an American. Veterans Day isn't a day just for veterans, it's a day for all Americans. It's a day to remember why they were fighting, and a day for us all to begin our journey of protecting our freedom and the freedom of many future generations. Dr. Hill, thank you again for allowing this wonderful event to take place today, and for giving me the honor to get up here and honor these great Americans on Veterans Day, or Veterans Day Eve. I wish you all the very best, and may God continue to bless this nation.
Please accept this gift of gratitude on behalf of Page High Battalion. Written in 1893, America the Beautiful has become one of the most iconic songs to represent America, referring to the natural beauty of the American landscape, while also referencing America as the land of opportunity for any and everyone. Most countries around the world can't offer the same opportunity or the same freedoms, and I can proudly say that America is the country where the tired, the poor, and the huddled masses who yearn for freedom can come for a better opportunity. Therefore, we must give our deepest gratitude to all those who have served and sacrificed to protect it. And now, the Page High Band will present America the Beautiful. rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the retirement of the colors. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Command Sergeant Major, retire the colors. Retire the colors.
Order, up. Right, face. Order, up. Reason on. Reason on. Order on. Reaching color. Center face. Forward mark. Center face. Forward mark. Right face. Order. Forward mark.
Thank you all again for attending and for, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Page High faculty and student body, thank you for helping us honor our Veterans Day. Please remain in your seats until the veterans and guests have departed. Ushers, come forward to escort our guests.